My bench was taken, so I found this gorgeous edifice. It's a Jewish temple, and I thought that I would sit in front of it. I'll let you take a quick peek. Anyway, today was an absolute riot. Let me tell you about it. Let me show you what I'm wearing, and then you'll be able to know a little bit better why this story is a little bit funny. Okay. So, we've got this going. My, whatever, was that leopard print? And then I decided to wear boots today instead of my usual comfortable shoes. So, this is what we got. All right. I thought I would be taking, I was going to walk to work, and then I said, no, I'm going to take the train because I have some errands to run and I have to make a few stops. So the first thing that happened while I'm waiting for the train, somebody comes up and says the train's not running. Now, there are no signs anywhere. You just have to kind of figure this out. So we said, well, how do we get to where we're going? They pointed across the street, and there was a little stand that said buses. This is the bus stop. So we walked back across the street. The big yellow bus came, and it wasn't a school bus. It was a pretty nice bus. It wasn't a tour bus. It was, you know, it was, anyway. But anyway, okay, so I'll get to the other part. I get down to the train station, and now the place I'm trying to get to, they said that they were on the orange line. Well, they weren't. They were just right off. They were at the green line and the red line, Park Street. All right, so it's a 2-minute walk, and I get there, and so much I want to tell you. I can't reveal right now. But anyway, this is one of my jobs. So I had to talk to somebody. I had been down to the offices. Well, it's at a theater. And I knocked on the door. The cleaning lady let me in. I go down and I meet the security guard, who takes me back up to the box office and says, this is the woman that you want to talk to. So I did. I said, okay,
anyways, for the favors they had, like the brewery classes.
I said, is this where X home office is? And she said, yes, for one part of that company it's here, but for the part that you're working for, she told me where it was, which was exactly where I had been dropped off to get on the train when I went to that place, which is actually, the place that I work is in between where I got dropped off and then the second place I went. So I have 2 jobs. All right. I actually did go to there are actually 3 offices, which are, the one is a 4-minute drive away, and I knew it wasn't that one. So I tried this other one first, which is where the bus dropped me off, and nobody was there. So then I went to this other place that allegedly were the headquarters, and she said, no, it's the place where you were. I said, forget it. And I wanted to be on time. I don't like being late. So I go running when I get off the train. Tried to hop back on the train, get off where I'm supposed to get off, and I'm running in these boots. I thought I'm gonna have shin splints tomorrow, and that's okay. And I love my job because I walk a lot. I get there, and the managers are great. Everything's good. Now, where I work, a lot of people from all over the world come in. So I get to talk to people from Brazil, and I just, you know, these 2 gorgeous girls came in speaking. I thought that is a Norse language. I said, where are you from? They said, Finland. So, and they were beautiful. another couple was there. A little boy came up and said, I'm looking for my parents. I don't know what I look like, the lost and found or something. So I said, let's go find your parents. And he said, oh, they're over there. Now, I didn't notice that he had an accent, but then the couple came towards me. And I asked the man if he needed some help. And then I helped him. And I said, well, you know, I told him who I was. I said, what's your name? Because I like to know who my clients are. And so the wife comes around the corner. She says, ela quer saber o seu nome. She wants to know your name. So I start speaking in Portuguese. Ah, vocês são do Brasil? Where are you from? Brazil? Where are you from? Anyway, we had a great talk. So then I went out and talked to the young man. I said, are you from Brazil too? And then I detected an accent. I found out he played soccer, played goalie, and he didn't think he was too good. I said, oh, well, you're young. You'll get better. I know, I was a goalie. In fact, I can still play now. I love it. I played with a guy the other day in the park. Okay, then, let's see what else happened. People I work for are great. And one person has a very hard to pronounce name, but I got it right all day. And at the end of the day, I could not remember the name. Now I know what it is. Right now I'm not ready to say what it is, but I will tell you at one point because they are really, really sweet. Okay. So I work with people of all ages from all over the world. And this girl actually graduated high school. I thought she had graduated college. She's very mature. And another really sweet girl who had just graduated college. We had a wonderful talk. Both of them wanting to get into the criminal justice system, which is, you know, very needed. Okay, so then two people, I mean, right at the same time, two people came in that had had tragedies, sort of. One lady came in and said, I had this accident and I'm needing some help, I need to replace these items. So I was helping this person, and then somebody else came in, and then they had, their home had burned down, so they needed to replace some other items. Okay, we're gonna play 20 questions, and eventually you'll figure out where I'm working. But right now it's kind of fun, keeping you in the dark. All right, so here I am juggling between two, and they both wanted petite sizes. Okay, now you can. All right, that was a giveaway. Okay, this is one of my dream jobs. So, who would guess that two people coming in at the same time would need petite sizes? Both had had these strange things happen and needed clothing. Okay, so, you know, we really didn't have what they had. I helped them, but I didn't really have what they had. Okay, and then the other person said, well, actually, I'm looking for this other store, but you don't seem to have one here, and I know that they have my size. So I was trying to look up the store, and it wasn't coming up. And I thought, was it because it's a competition? Well, if we don't have it, I figured that we should be like Macy's Santa Claus. Or, it's not Macy's, it was Gimbel's on Miracle on 34th Street. You know, the one from 1994. So if we don't have it, then we'll send you to somewhere where they do have it. Here's what I know. If you help people solve their problem, if you can't solve it for them, send it to somebody who can. And anyway, all right, my friend, wherever you are out there, I dropped the ball because I ended up helping somebody else. And when you're back in town again, if she happens to be from Texas, come back and see me and I'll help you. Okay. So, and then there's a Brazil connection in there somewhere with them. So then I left. Forgetting that I was going to have to catch a train to one place and then catch a bus back to my house. So I get off at this one stop because I need to go back to, I decided I was going to go back and talk to, see if I could catch somebody at my other job. All right. Now I remember I got to take a big yellow bus from that stop to my house. And so I talked to a guy in a vest, Jim, who is a hoot, and then the other guy. So I said, okay, how long is this really gonna be 2 weeks? He said 11 days, but you never know with the Boston Mass Transit system. So they started telling me about all of the projects that took way longer than they should have, and some who were on time and some that took way less time than they should have. And it was one story after another. There were two guys. Anyway, so I missed the bus as they drove off. Didn't matter because I decided to go to this other place. Well, meanwhile, I'm walking to this other place, and it is a pretty well-known venue. So these two guys are taking pictures, and I said, would you like me to take your picture? And they said, well, why, yes. Come to find out, they are, one of them's from Chicago, and he really likes it there, and he originally was from Texas, and the other one's from Dallas. So they were here. Now I don't think that they came for this event, and you'll be able to figure out where this other place is. So, oh, I'll give you a hint. If you saw the Paul McCartney video, I pointed to them and I said, let me tell you what happened right down the street. And then I told them about meeting Paul McCartney's sister-in-law back when I lived in Boston before. So, anyway. But come to find out, there was this really cool connection with Wheaton College's. Kevin's sister had gone to Wheaton College, and then Jonathan, who lives in Dallas, had lived in Peru. He had gone to Foz do Iguaçu, so we talked about the Foz, and because we had gone there when I was 10, which was a really great memory. And then Kevin, I said, okay, so why are you guys here? He said, well, okay, this is going to get some of the other part, but you don't quite know. This is the good stuff. All right, he said, okay, so we bought tickets to a Red Sox game, which nobody's there. Now, a few people are sitting out at the Cask and Flagon, which is right across the street. And he said, we bought tickets to the game tonight, but they're playing in Florida. I said, I can one-up you on that. When I was in Mary Kay, it was when I was in Boston, there was a conference, and I bought tickets, airline tickets. The conference is in July, and I remember I was so tired when I made these reservations. I made them for, I think it was like July 10th through 14th or something. And I made the airline reservations for June 10th to 14th or whatever. So what I thought was so weird was the conference is in July, and here I'm getting boarding passes in June. So then when June comes up, I'm calling the airline saying, hey, where are my boarding passes? They said, well, you booked your flight for June. So I told Kevin and Jonathan, I just ate it. There was no way I was going to that conference. I just took extra hours at work anyway. Oh my gosh. All right, so they said, okay, you actually went. Oh, the two cutest dogs just went by quickly. And they both were looking at me while I was laughing. Okay, so I've made a lot of friends with dogs here. They're really, really friendly dogs. Okay, so I said, okay, so Wheaton is a Christian college, right? And they said, yes. I said, okay, I went to OCU, Oklahoma Christian. So we had a little wonderful talk about Christian colleges, and they said, so did you know that Wheaton College is the Harvard of Christian universities? I said, well, no. And so that was Kevin. And Jonathan said, yeah, well, Harvard's not going to think that, because Harvard's going to say, we are the Harvard of Christian colleges because we started out as a Christian college. Which I don't know if that makes OCU, but anyway, we are the, I don't know. We are a princely college of Christian colleges. It is a very delightful university. It's small. I think when I was there, we had, the enrollment was roughly around 1,800 all 4 years. So we had a lot of one-on-one time with our professors, which was really great. Okay, so let's see, what else can I tell you? I said, all right, so if I don't see you guys this side of heaven, we're gonna have to meet in some corner of heaven and catch up over what happened between now and when we got there. I said, we'll just find a little place off the yellow brick road. They thought that was hilarious. I said, although I think it should be, the road should be made of chocolate. Which they concurred. They thought that was a great idea. Okay, so I think that we, you know, shot the, I don't know what the Christian word is. Not the bull. Anyway, some more, and then I went on. I had to talk to somebody, and I met a really nice guy who works at a place that is connected to this other job. And so we had a nice conversation, and I'll be seeing him around, another Kevin. So hi, Kevin and Jonathan. All right, so I'm walking back, and now I'm in front of the cask and flagon, and there Kevin and Jonathan are. I said, is this heaven? They started laughing. I said, it just seems like a few minutes ago that I saw you. They said, no, this is hell. We're stuck trying to sell these tickets online. We're stuck in a loop. So I said, listen, if you want to drown your sorrows, go into the cask and flagon. They have a chili that rivals Texas chili any day. And the staff here is phenomenal. So anyway, that's where I sat out when I went and listened to the Paul McCartney concert, and I was treated royally. It's fantastic. Okay, so then I came back and I saw Jim, the guy who was in front of he had his big yellow vest on, and he was talking about his wife earlier, and I thought that she was sitting in the car. So he had this yellow vest, and he's telling a guy that he can't park where this guy's parked. This guy had pulled over and parked right where another big yellow bus was going to come, and he wanted to park there, and there's no meter. So Jim kept saying, you can't park there, you can't park there. There's no parking there. So the guy finally, he's kind of doing this thing, and he leaves. So I walked by Jim, and I said, I think you deserve combat pay for that. Anyway, so we said our Godspeeds, and I went to get on the big yellow bus, and there was a very nice lady there. I said, hey, listen, are you Jim's other half? She said, yeah, I'm Lori. Great talk. And I said, it's so great being back here. I'm from Texas, I love it, but I really love being here. And she said, how is it for you this time around? And I said, it's great. It's even better than I remembered. She said, really? She goes, even though I think it's more like New York, the buildings are taller and people are more focused. I think that they're more to themselves. I said, everybody I've spoken with. Okay. I said, everyone I have spoken with has been fantastic. From people I talked to on the phone, on the street, asking directions, dropping in places. Phenomenal. You know, I can't even tell you how great it is being back here. So she said, well, welcome home. So I get on the big yellow bus, and then I thought, now this is this looked like it was going to go state to state, and I thought, am I on the wrong bus? So I get off, I said, is this going to where I'm going? And she said, yes. So then when I got off, I said, I've got to go talk about this story. Now I got to go get these boots off, throw my feet up in the air. I've got to watch the rest of Gandhi, which I love. In fact, the story is great. I don't recall if I saw it when it came out. It's possible I did, and I'm forgetting. I think I would have remembered the fact that Ian Charleston was in it. He played okay, in Chariots of Fire, Harry Abrams was the he was the Jewish, the man who played the Jewish character who had gone to Oxford. And then, why can't I think of the Christian? Anyway, that was Ian Charleston's character. And unfortunately, that actor died, I don't know how many years after that. He died fairly young, but was such a sweet soul. But anyway, he is in Gandhi. It was Ben Kingsley's debut movie, and actually what I remember at OC. During Spring Sig. And that was our spring review that we would do. And so so the Theta women that I was a part of typically won Spring Sing, and our brother club was the Kappa Club, but somewhere in there, I think it was during the years that I was there, 79 to 84, the Delta guys became our brother club, and they were hilarious. Now the Kappa guys put a lot of effort into their Spring Sing show. Delta guys, everything was last minute, but they were so creative, so on point. They were an equal opportunity offender when it came to politics and ideology, but they did it in such good taste, and I don't know. And they were always, of course, the judges were always saying, you can't put that in there. That's too offensive. So they find a way around it. But what I remember was, I don't remember what this show is about, but all I know is at the end, Ted Norton played a perfect Gandhi, was suspended from the ceiling, who came down, and I think he sat in a cross-legged position and had a daisy. That was the end of their show. And I think maybe it was the next year that they won, when Boyd Hale and directed You're in the Army Now. I know that we won the year before. That may have been the greatest show on earth. The very first one the first year I was there, was in Delta, and we did, we were jailbirds. And then the next year when I was in Theta, we were Jack in the Boxes. I was the yellow Jack in the Box. I remember that. And I remember Jeff Schrum, God bless him, who's now in heaven. I remember him coming up to me afterwards and going, you know, you have a great stage presence. And there was this picture of me in the yearbook, you know, ta-da, like this. So when our yearbooks got destroyed in Harvey, I got all new yearbooks from Chris Adair. Thank you, Chris Adair. I still have them, as a matter of fact. And I was looking at them the other day. That's funny, because they are yearbooks that are, I think that they were leftover yearbooks, or maybe people had, I think some people had signed in them and then gave them back to the alumni office. I don't know, but they were extra yearbooks, and they have people who signed in them, people that I don't know. Anyway, so I tried to find that picture. I couldn't find it. I think that was the year they reprinted the yearbook. It actually had a different cover, had a green cover. I don't remember what the original one was, but I couldn't find that picture of me doing this thing, you know, from whatever. And then we did the greatest show on, or I think we won with the greatest show on earth. There was one year I wasn't in it, which we were grandmothers, and then I do not recall my 5th year in 84, the spring of 84, what we did, and if I was in that or not. I don't know why I'm blanking on that, but what I do remember was when Delta won, we're in the Army Now. A lot of girls in Theta instead of women. How did they win that? They weren't supposed to win. They're supposed to let us win. I'm sorry. Well, they deserved it. And now Tom and Boyd are big writers out in Hollywood. And one day, you know, I hope that I get out there and see you. Okay, so enough with the name dropping, but that's just a lot of fun. And that's one of my many, 1,500 wish lists to do while I still walk planet Earth. All right, so Gandhi, I'm paying attention to the clothes because they're so out of Africa, and some of the clothes that they wore back, you know, when Britain had occupied India, which, you know, I had never thought of that, and like I said, maybe I saw this before and it didn't hit me the way it did now. To hear it from the perspective of the Indian people it's very heartbreaking, the poverty that they had to go through. And a lot of people in India did benefit from British occupation, British rule. A lot of people did not. There was a lot of suffering. And so this is not a treatise on Britain or on, you know, what India should or shouldn't do. It's just really identifying with the difficulties that were true, that had happened then. But what I recall in Brazil was Gandhi had been such a huge figure that when I was a little girl, they were still showing some of his speeches on TV. They were black and white. And I thought he was still alive. I think it was later in life that I realized he had been assassinated. And I couldn't remember when it was. And so you get to see, unfortunately, in the movie, that's how it starts out. And it was in 1948. So here I am, nearly over 15 years later, as a little girl, being impacted by Gandhi in Brazil, and then Indira Gandhi, his daughter, who had ruled India for a bit, and I believe she was assassinated at one point as well, and maybe it was in the 60s, I don't recall exactly, but she was a huge figure in Indian history. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that movie tonight, prop my feet up, go to bed early. I have the best, I'm telling you, I have the best dreams. Last night I dreamed, I actually did go back to OC. I went to homecoming and saw everybody, and I dreamed Mom and Dad and Andrea and her family came, and the kids, except all of my nieces and nephews were little kids. It was the weirdest thing. Now, when I first moved here, I had these really weird dreams where I dreamed that my nieces and nephews and whatever, it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it was before all of them were born. And once I had it 40 years ago, and I was waking up going, did I lose 10, 20, 30, 40 years of my life? I haven't had those in a long time. So when I had that dream the other night, it was the night before church. I woke up, I thought, oh, everybody's going to church with us today. I was all excited. It was like, it was a dream, it was a dream. And last night I had this other great dream, and it was one where, oh, it was great. Okay. It was, okay. So I was at OC. I saw everybody for homecoming. We had a wonderful time, and it was not like that recurring dream. You have to go back and watch that one about the recurring dream going back to OC. I'm not going to go over that one again. So I'm at OC, and all of a sudden I'm transported to Brazil, to Interlagos. And now a lot of Germans and British people live there, and the homes there were so charming and quaint, stucco with terracotta roofs, and these wooden shutters, you know, they would be arched and they would open out with a little wrought iron fixtures that would hold them back, or you could shut them, you know, during heavy thunderstorms. And sometimes there would be bars on the windows, depending. And they would be some very ornate, very nice looking. So, and I remember the charm and the magic that I felt when we would go visit people, you know, in these homes. And all of a sudden, I owned one of those homes, and I was inviting all of our old friends and family from Brazil, from Oklahoma, from Boston, from Texas, and all of our family, and people who are here and people who aren't here. And it was just a lot of people, and they were coming, and we were having fun and eating food from all over the world. And I woke up and I felt great. So that was my whole day. I gotta go because this is 29 minutes. It's gonna take forever to upload. But I hope you enjoy this, because these are so much fun to make. Thank you for listening to Coffee and Good Stuff, and I hope that this has been a pleasant trip down memory lane, some good stories, and stay tuned for more to come. Bye-bye.